Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome to Scorpio's tarot reading for January 2026. Um, Scorpio, I got a few things. I was pre-shuffling the cards, and what I got was January is going to hold magnetic energy for you and love that may be intense, but in a very good way. Also, money that's shifting, and the reason being it's a chance for you to step fully into your power. This month, your intuition is going to be your compass, and what you uncover could change everything in the very best of ways. So, that was a little message from Spirit, our guides, and we're going to go to the cards and our guides. So, real quick, this is going to be for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Many of you are intuitively guided. You know why, whatever reason you clicked on, chances are there's a message here. If not, many messages. So, what we're doing this month is we're breaking down love and then money, doing two separate readings, giving love its own reading, money. But when I say money, I also mean your creativity, your career, but we're going to start with love. Going to start with love. So we will give Mother Mary the honor of opening up your reading. We will use the crystal vision to clarify and go deeper. And we're going to use the psychic tarot for love. And then I have your cards already for money. So let's go ahead and open up this reading. I am going to ask you just to calm your mind. Let the rest follow. Let me bring that lid down a little bit. All right, let's give him a cut. Let's get into this reading. I already feel like it's going to be off the charts. Like I felt like I was being prepared. So I'm excited to do your reading. And real quick, while I'm doing this, let me just give a shout out to my daughter who, her birthday is on October 29th, and my brother Sean on November 6th. Compassion. Well, that you already have. Compassion. I see and feel others' points of view with forgiveness and kindness. That kind of makes sense as we are clearing out 2025, opening up 2026. That I feel like what this is saying is think about what you don't want to carry in this new year one, this new 9-year cycle that's opening up. Well, it's already opened up. So, it feels like you're being your natural self. But I feel like what it's saying is, you know, don't carry like unforgiveness into your year one. Remember, year one is a clean slate. It's an opportunity for a clean slate. All right. So, love. Love, love, love. I'm talking about. A bunch of people probably just clicked off. Don't want to hear her singing. I get it. All right. Love. Love my Scorpios. Conflict and defeat. But it is a number 5. So change. Definitely feel like this is talking about, well, 2025. I feel like a lot of people are like ready to say goodbye to 2025. It's interesting because in this image, This person's like running down the stairs, right? There's that little candle lit. It feels like a flame. Well, it is a flame, but I mean, it feels like someone's flame that maybe I didn't even know about. This person can't get away fast enough. And I feel like there is a secret flame. Interesting why I'm picking it up like that. Your intuition and your guides are really calling for you to, let your intuition be your compass. And I don't mind you like running down those steps now, because if your intuition is calling for that, you're listening to that, and then that flame, we'll see. We have the Seven of Pentacles. I don't love this image, to be honest with you, because usually you'll see what I call your tree of life. These are all your pentacles, your intentions are. But yeah, Seven of Pentacles definitely is about planning and patience. But I also feel Seven of Pentacles is, certain seeds that may have been pre-planted that may become to fruition. Interesting. 5 + 2 is 7. 7. Emotional loss. Okay. 2 5s. 2 changes. Emotional loss is the 5 cups. I want to see what follows it. I do want to remind you, though, fives do ask for change. And I feel like this is the kind of change I want to give. 5 of cups ask you to ask yourself, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on cups that have been knocked over? Or are you starting to think about the potential of what can be? Because in the 5 of cups, remember, there are soulmates. There's 2 cups behind this person, but they don't know it yet. That's that flame. That's that flame. They're all reversed. Going to turn them around. Material harvest. I like that. That is the 9 of Pentacles. I forgot how big these cards were. Truth. This is your judge. This is your spiritual team. And then, hello, wisdom. The Hierophant. Your opposite sign. It's interesting because my daughter and I were talking last night on the phone, and we were talking about how important it is to really get to know your opposite sign, because oftentimes that's the area that we may be lacking. Like, I'm a Virgo and my opposite is Pisces. Well, Virgos could definitely use more of that emotional flow of Pisces. So, and you have that emotional flow. So Taurus would be more grounding energy for you. Okay, let's talk about this. So we have the Seven of Pentacles right in the middle of the reading, and even though that's not the greatest image of it, it definitely makes me feel like there are seeds that are coming to fruition. And again, I can't help but my eye just keeps getting drawn back to that flame. And then you have Judgment underneath it, which is your spiritual team. And, they're calling you to the present moment. They're talking about a rebirth after these changes. And the Seven of Pentacles kind of, where the Seven of Pentacles says, patience, my child. And the patience is like, when you plant a seed, it needs time, right? It needs nurtured. Then if I do nurture it and I give it the time it needs, it's only going to blossom. And then probably set off new blossoms. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it's a one-time thing. Um, I do feel like there are a couple changes going on for you, but your intuition is really trying to guide you here. I feel like for some of you, which I mean, my God, we talked about all year long. Um, and I'm sure a lot of you are happy that we don't have to talk about the ending, the ending of that 9 year cycle. And now we can talk about this brand new slate. So these fives are really important because it allows you to start on this new slate. I have a feeling also where many of you have taken, like, during these down times, or, something that you're trying to overcome. I do feel like you may have turned to your creativity because you're sitting over here with the Nine of Pentacles and it is material harvest. It's also a very independent energy, though. This is truly where I'm learning to take care, like I can take care of myself financially, whether I'm just learning that or, you know, and it's an important component, I feel, because I feel like when you can take care of you, then when you, and I don't even want to say when you're looking for love, but let's say love enters. You're not looking for love that's going to take care of you financially. And I feel like also, if there's been like a period of time where you couldn't take care of yourself financially and you had to, put your energy or allow whatever was happening to happen because, you couldn't, you weren't prepared, let's say. Well, this feels like it changes everything. This feels like it changes everything. And I love intuition above wisdom. That is about your faith, your morals, and, the five before conflict and defeat. Well, I have a feeling some of you are just really standing your ground. Like if our morals don't match, align, then what's the sense? If I believe this and you believe that, and it's just too far to bridge, well, maybe we're just on different vibrations. Also, whereas Seven of Pentacles is asking for patience, judgment is now calling you to the present moment. That means these fives, which you have three of, so you may have three major changes. But number one, it looks like your money will only be amplified. All right, well, let's keep going. We'll talk about money, but I do feel that. You know what else I'm feeling, Scorpio? That let's say you meet someone new. Um, I feel like you will be able to tell. You'll be able to feel their energy before they even speak. And trust that. Because I feel like it's really like your intuition is being called into action more than ever. And that is a good thing. That means you have work to clear a lot of energy. That means you're now trusting your intuition, instead of that second answer, you're trusting the original. We have the Empress and, oh my God, and the Emperor together. It's interesting. I don't know when, like, I've seen the Emperor and the Empress in quite a few readings this month. And it makes sense because I feel like a lot of you definitely have been evolving. A lot of you. Um, and this is definitely that energy. You know, this isn't just any old love. I call these two my power couple. And to see them come out side by side, I'm telling you, it rarely happens. Look at that. Hello, passion ignited. The Ace of Wands. No wonder you have these fives. You know, I have a feeling none of these fives were easy, but each of them important. I feel like if we start with the first one, conflict and defeat, it just to me feels like someone I just kept butting heads with. And it doesn't even have to mean love, just people. And then we go to the second five, emotional loss. That is kind of where we're focusing on the cups that have been knocked over, but we're not thinking about the potential of our tomorrow. Yet, even that feels like it has purpose behind it. Because I feel many of you, as you were going through what feels like a difficult time, I do feel like you turned to your creativity. Like your guides probably reached you and said, let's get what you're learning and let's do something with it. Let's help others. It does mean that these fives are either going to be overcome very soon or already have. When you see the Empress and the Emperor together, by the way, three, four, five, one, we're just missing the two. We're missing the soulmates. But we know that they're up there. All right, let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Victory and success. And I love this image because this person looks like they're on a mountaintop shouting to the world, look at me, world. Look at me now. Look at me now. Doesn't have to mean you feel victorious in all areas of your life, but I have a feeling some of these fives have been overcome or you've made changes so that they end. And I feel like that alone, because it almost feels like a personal victory. You know what I mean? Like I'm shouting to the world, like, I did it. I did it. All right, let's bring in the crystal vision and let's go over this. Let's go deeper. What I love about the Emperor and the Empress is not only, first of all, I feel like they're both in a high vibrational energy. And I'm not saying perfect. No one's perfect. But these two have been through it. And that's the thing. That's what you want to remember. It is their experiences that have led them to this high vibration because they've cleared them. They've taken the time to understand them. And both of them are, well, compassionate, empathetic. Both of them want to help the world or their fellow brother and sister, whether it be the world, a neighbor, a YouTube channel. But in some way, you're helping, but it's also using your experiences. These two, though very much alike, they're still different. I often feel the Empress is someone who goes more by the seat of her pants, where the Emperor is someone who's more methodical. Like, I like to have a plan in place. It reminds me of Scorpio and Taurus, like your opposite sides, but how well they complement each other. And then we have this beautiful Ace of Wands. passion ignited, and it is mirroring judgment. Look at me, right in the middle of cutting the cards, I just stopped. But I can't help but notice that, right? Judgment, your spiritual team calling you to the present moment. How are they going to reach you? Your intuition, your heart's, your chakras. I want to say your heart chakra. Here, it is your heart chakra. But I feel like they're also guiding you in money. That's weird. Okay, let's bring in the crystal vision. I want to know more. I want to know more. We have the Page of Cups who just reversed itself. Inner child. Hmm. We have the Nine of Cups. And then the Seven of Cups over another seven. Seven of Cups over the Seven of Pentacles. Again, reminds me of Scorpio and Taurus. But let's stop for a second. Excuse me. So, number one, the Page of Cups coming in reverse over conflict and defeat. I feel like what it's talking about is definitely inner child energy. This is usually where we take the brunt of the hurt, especially emotional, you know, because we have emotional loss here. But listen, that emotional loss is going to be replaced. I already know it. I already know it. But let's wait until we get there. So then we move into the Nine of Cups. Well, that is inner harmony and fulfillment of wishes. I have a feeling whatever you ended in this five is opening up the fulfillment of wishes. But let's not skip over the inner harmony. Why do you have inner harmony? Because I feel that you are starting to live a much more aligned type of life. You're being truer to you. You may be creating boundaries, but not walls. Not walls. You don't create walls when the emperor or the empress is here. Why? Because their intuition, they know, is also their protector. And that's also for us. I mean, you are the empress or the emperor here. So interesting. This inner harmony. And again, it doesn't mean that everything is going perfect, but I found a way to center myself even if there's chaotic energy. And because the next card can speak about chaotic energy, the Seven of Cups, I have a feeling something's going to happen on a day that may be somewhat chaotic. A lot of things going on. And, chances are it almost feels like a phone call, something out of the blue, someone out of the blue, someone who is offering a cup, and then you are making a decision. It's interesting that it is coming over your tree of life at the same time, and it's mirroring the Empress. So the Empress, when she, the cup is offered to her, it's not that she would turn her energy, it's not that she would be chaotic. I have a feeling the day is chaotic. And I have a feeling it's like, I feel like the day is important because I feel like this is when I would least expect it. So much shit going on. And then maybe out of the blue, your phone rings. Something's going to happen. Let's keep going. Even with like conflict and defeat, doesn't always mean like everything has been solved in that. But you are like disconnecting from it. You know what I mean? Like if it's other people's drama, you're saying no, thank you. It definitely is showing that you've been hurt, that you've been taken advantage of. But in no way do I feel like the love going to be offered has any of that intention, especially with your spiritual team here and the Emperor and the Empress. All right. Interesting. All right. We have the Hierophant again, another five. But so this five, the Emperor, which is of wisdom, your faith, your belief system, your morals, coming over emotional loss. I feel like what you're doing is you're questioning, or you could very quickly see that something just wasn't aligning with you any longer. We have the Emperor over material harvest. Some of you started your own business, or you're becoming a leader, a leadership role. The Two of Wands. This is nice because this is coming over your spiritual team. And they're telling you there's about to be a rebirth. And you're going to know this through your intuition. And then they bring out the Two of Wands. And that just means simply stepping into it. This is not a fear-based energy. It's more of passionate energy. So if you feel it, and let's say, here's what I would say. You have this inner harmony. Doesn't mean everything is perfect. Doesn't mean that everything is solved. But you yourself have found, how to center yourself in the midst of chaos. And that, to me, is the perfect opening for love. Because you feel good. And even the Nine of Pentacles, you feel strong, independent. Doesn't mean that you're rich. But who knows? Maybe you're on your way. I often feel the Emperor is a business owner. But it doesn't have to be a business owner, but some of you may receive a title. But anyways, let's get back to love. Well, that's not what I had. I had the Two of Wands. And look at this. I didn't even know I had it in my hand. The Knight of Wands. Passion rushing in. It is what it is. It's rushing in. It's coming over wisdom. And your spiritual team is really ushering it in. So even though, it is about literally, you only have to take a step. But I feel like once I take that step, passion ignites. And I love that it's coming over the Hierophant. Some of you may be connected to a Taurus because we have Taurus all over the board. But beyond that, what I feel like your guides are saying is this is someone who is much more aligned with you, to you. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to say their morals or their faith is exactly alike, but they're aligned. They're aligned. Even this Ace of Pentacles mirroring Judgment. Like here is the activation, here is the action, and the passion begins. And so it begins. By the way, it's also coming under fulfillment of wishes. So if I have wished for this, and if I've actively put out those intentions, well, they're coming back to you now. All right, let's keep going. Um, the Emperor, by the way, can be also Aries. We have the Queen of Wands. Well, Queen of Passion, Queen of Action. This queen follows whatever she feels passionate about. She's not a page. And I actually love the Page of Pentacles. I call the page my risk taker. And I feel like what this is saying is you've taken risk in your lives, and yeah, not all of them paid off, but maybe they weren't meant to. Maybe they were the stepping ground or the stepping stones to this ultimate type of love. And then, the King of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Doesn't have to be any of that. But he is coming under Taurus again, but it also over a card of Aries. That's why I say kind of leave out the signs and let's talk more about their energy. So the King of Pentacles is someone, when they look at a situation, they look at the big picture. The King of Pentacles in the upright, loyalty, stability. I can count on the King of Pentacles. And it's important for this king that he has stability. Because if he doesn't, if he feels unbalanced, well, probably everyone around him feels unbalanced. Though he is showing as the emperor, though, and this queen is showing as the empress. And I do feel like you're either the queen and the empress or the king and the emperor. And then the Queen of Wands having the Seven of Cups above her, where you're making a decision of accepting a cup or not. Well, this is a queen that would accept it if she feels passionate about it. But look at all the passion. I don't know how she couldn't. We have the Strength card, card of Leo. Strength card is, well, I have to say 2025 is really a time where we probably found our strength, where we've overcome a lot. And I know a lot of you have, like doing shadow work. I feel like in the strength card, it is knowing oneself, my shadow, my light, and finding balance. You can't talk about what you've overcome, but you've overcome it. And strength card, when you do that, it is your courage now. And you never lose that. It's like a badge of courage. Some of you could have been in, hmm, you know, I want to say like a healing stage. But like when I say that, I don't feel like you weren't doing anything, but you may have been overcoming. But you did. And your guides are like, okay, and now it's time. And the timing is now. All right, let's go below it. We have Page of Swords, mirroring the reversal of the Page of Cups. Something is telling me that is your voice, that is your truth. That's something you've been learning to speak your truth. That your voice has importance. We have the Four of Cups in reverse. We turn it around. In the upright, what it means is discontentment and boredom in one's emotional world. The meaning of the card is also is learning to use one's spiritual discernment. Why? Because a cup is coming in. A cup is coming in. And it being in reversed, I know at this point, the cup has come in. I know at this point, this queen said yes. Look at this, the Nine of Pentacles again. You know, wow. Double Virgo on the board also. But look at that coming under the Empress. You know, I get this sense that the challenges of 2025 are not going to follow you in 2026. Now, you had a lot to do with that, though. A lot of clearing, understanding, right? Putting things on their shelves. And I feel like a lot of you have been very creative. And I just feel like this is the beginning of your material harvest. Like the spotlight is on you. But in everything. What I also love, I just realized the Nine of Pentacles is connected to the Empress. The Nine of Pentacles is connected to the Emperor. Wow. Both independent souls. Both have a job. Both doing something that they love. Even if I don't do it for a living yet, there's still something I feel like that has piqued your interest. And it's so interesting because can these two people work together? Can they love and work together? There's no one better. There is no one better. And both of them are carrying material harvest. Both of them are standing independent. And I also feel that means, excuse me, there's not someone else in the picture. Well, there couldn't be, because the Empress would say no right away. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, it depends. You know, someone could be ending a relationship, but I don't feel like their heart belongs to anyone else. Let's just put it that way. We have the Eight of Wands that slowed itself down because this is a fast moving energy. You know, you can even look at it. Look at the horses like all going in different directions. What I think about, I bring about, but it is in reverse. But I have to tell you, you know, for some, I don't even want to say this, but I feel like for some, there just was someone who kind of left you on the hook. And I just don't feel like, well, honestly, I feel like you probably cleared that. Because there's no way your spiritual team would usher in new love if your heart still belonged to another. Doesn't mean you don't have like remnants of, you know, and I don't even know why I'm bringing it up, to be honest. I really feel like what this is saying is it's okay to move slow. You don't have to move something quickly, right? The emperor's not going to run away, or the empress won't run away. Even if I say, you know what, let me think about it. Let me think about it. But then I have a feeling if you said, well, let me think about it, I'll give you a call. And then you didn't call, I feel like, well, the emperor would call you. So I don't feel like this is someone who would run, is what I mean. I do feel like it's someone who would honor what you need, whether that be time, because I feel like they're going to understand, what you've been through. And they've probably been through similar energy. That's why they understand. That's why they understand. Four of Swords. There's your healing. Healing of the broken hearts. Healing of our thoughts. That's another thing my daughter and I were talking about. Your thoughts. And I reminded her that we can lie to ourselves. We can tell ourselves whatever we want to tell ourselves. But the truth is the truth is the truth. And that's really what you're figuring out in the Four of Swords. It's not just healing over a broken heart. It's also getting to know oneself. Like, let's say in love. How am I in love? And not for judgment, just to know oneself. I feel like it's really important. I do. I just feel like it's really important. I'm kind of blown away that the Emperor and the Empress both have the Nine of Pentacles over them. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love it. And the other nine you have is the Nine of Cups. So inner fulfillment and fulfillment of wishes. It's like your spiritual team is like, we recognize the work that you've put in. We recognize how compassionate you are. We recognize the type of love you now deserve. And I'm saying now because we don't want to regret past life. It all taught our past love. It all taught us something. And one of the main thing it teaches us is what we don't want, right? Like, I don't want someone who goes silent. I don't want someone who pushes me, push me in a kind way, but don't demand I make a decision. Well, and I don't feel that will happen at all. But I do feel like your guide is saying, let's just take it slow. Let's let the energy speak for itself. And then I just feel like everything will fall in place. I'm telling you, this may be someone that you collaborate with, start a business with, or even if one has an existing business, the other one might be invited in because both have something to offer, a lot to offer. And when you see yourself in one of your readings as the Empress, be proud of that. That means you have lifted your own vibration. And therefore, the universe must match that vibration. All right. I want to just go, well, right, I was going to say right across the middle, and then we'll bring out the romance angels. Three of Pentacles. You guys know I love this in love. This is all about being your authentic self and being appreciated for it. So if anybody comes in and is like, well, you need to change this and this and that to be with me, you would say, no, thank you. Because if you can't accept me for who I am, then you're just not accepting me. and therefore I cannot accept you. But that is not what's happening here. This is truly the appreciation of who you are. And even those broken little pieces that we think, like, who's going to love me with this or that? Well, someone special. And by the way, you are doing the same for them. You're going to appreciate them for who they are, for what they bring to the table. But I feel like you may have a secret admirer. There already may be someone who is thinking of my Scorpio. Am I on the right path here? Talking to our guides. We had, excuse me, the Five of Pentacles, though it did show in reverse. We got a lot of fives. Whoa. The Queen of Swords. And there's that Seven of Pentacles again. So now the Seven of Pentacles is mirroring the Three of Pentacles. Here is the image I was talking about, your tree of life. Those pentacles are your seeds. Some of them predestined. Some of them could have been planted yesterday. We want to remember that we want to be planting seeds, or we will have no harvest. So plant those seeds, baby. I love that the Five of Pentacles just came out in reverse. Because the Five of Pentacles in the upright, it does feel like a tower. It's something that happened outside of your control. And I do feel like something had happened. But that was yesteryear. And, I'm seeing this page to the Queen, and I feel like, what have you learned? You've learned a lot. You're evolving in such a beautiful way. And I feel like at this point in the reading, you're living your truth. You're speaking your truth. Not in a mean way. You're just comfortable with your voice now. You've learned to use that sword wherever it's needed. And remember, that sword that this Queen has and the page has, it's not a one-time thing. It's like the badge of courage you receive after the Strength card. It's like your intuition is a gift. It is your GPS in this lifetime, and that sword is to use anytime you want to cut ties energetically or physically. Seven of Pentacles, its timing is now. That's why Judgment is calling you to the present moment. Let yesterday go. What you cannot control, let it go. Because this is the beauty of what wants to open up now. I love that you got the Emperor and the Empress side by side. Because at this table, they are our power couple. They can support each other. And I feel like this is the type of love, I can't guarantee it because of free will, but I feel like it has every opportunity to last the rest of your life. And Judgment, your spiritual team, what they're going to do is ignite your heart chakra. You're going to feel it. And then something's going to happen. I just want to look at that Seven of Cups, and then we'll bring in the romance angels. I want to know a little bit more of how this is potentially coming together. Justice. Cutting of ties. No wonder we're seeing two singular energies. The Six of Swords moving on. Interesting. So someone, or both, have just cut ties with someone. And I shouldn't say just, because they're already in the energy of moving on. You know, it talks about the toxicity that once was, but this is the energy of saying no more. And, you know, when you use that sword of justice, what does it do for you? It gives you balance. All right. Anything else? You know, I love the fact that if there was anyone else, it definitely feels like both are free and clear. One may one may still be wrapped around the leaving part, but definitely they're wherever they were, the love is gone. The King of Cups, though he did show in reverse. So, who are they moving on from? Who are you moving on from? Well, the King of Cups in reverse, you know, this is someone who has no problem showing other people their feelings or, well, I don't even know if they're real. This is someone who flirts with other people. This is someone that, I don't know, at least because it reminds me of my ex-husband. Um, let's just say, in a way, I kind of like seeing the King of Cups in reverse because I feel like it's very clear to either you or the other that what was is now empty. It's like the cup that the king had, it's now drained. So, moving on. And who knows? Maybe that is also what Spirit was waiting for. You know, this feels like it's happening in divine timing. All right, let's bring in the romance angels. You know, I was just thinking also, some of you may meet this person doing like, how do I want to say this? Like I want to say like at a seminar, but then I'm thinking, well, how many people are going to go to a seminar? But here's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling it's like I'm somewhere, they're somewhere. It can even be online though, because I feel like we have similar interests, and it is our interest that begins the connection. And it may be, again, something that you do for a living or you want to do or a side hustle. I just feel like somehow, some way, or at least that's what Spirit's telling me. So we'll probably see it in your money also. All right, let's finish this with the romance angels and then we'll go to your money. Retreat. You know, it's interesting. It did show up in reverse. I don't really read these in reverse, but I am taking into consideration. It's time to disconnect from the world. Okay. I feel like that's reverse. I feel like that's what you've been doing. I feel like that's what the Four of Swords is also about. And I'm not saying that it was a waste of time. Quite the opposite. You know, I feel like this person is walking along talking to a very special spirit guide, someone they love dearly, who is now crossed over, but right beside you at the same time. And I feel like they're helping you. And I feel like they are also telling you, get back out into the world. The time for rest and retreat has come to an end. It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. Wow, that would be the Emperor and the Empress. And then, hello, worth waiting for. How beautiful. Divine timing is at work in your love life. Number one, that lets you let go of control. You don't have to worry about it. I feel like the main energy is finding that inner harmony. And that's what these fives are about, the clearing of these fives so that you can find that inner harmony. It doesn't guarantee you that if there's chaos that it goes away. But what it does guarantee you is that you can calm your own energy. Excuse me 1 second. I'm sorry. Someone knocked at my door. All right. Anyway, so divine timing is at work in your love life. Here it is. Your spiritual team, divine, and mirrored by the Ace of Wands. They are activating it. You don't feel like there's a lot you need to do. I don't feel that you have to search. I feel like it'll just happen. However it happens, and it's going to happen differently for different people. But one thing is clear here, that your heart chakra is being activated, that you're going to feel this passion. And even if you want to take it slow, that's fine. That's fine. But just know that it is divine that is bringing you two together. And it was worth the wait. And it's safe for you to love. And I even love how it says on here, open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. That tells me you yourself must be reaching that energy. Again, don't shoot for perfection. Your spiritual team's not asking for it. They just want you to be you. Just be you. But be the best version of you. Remember, whatever energy you put out there, it has to be met. So if I put a high vibrational energy out there, wow, get ready. Okay, let's pick this up and let's go into money, 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 money. Though something is telling me that your love, or let me just put it this way. I feel like there will be every opportunity if two chooses to work together, to create together, not only to love together, but to create probably unimaginable things like success that I could only dream about. All right. So we're going to use the Gilded Tarot and the Tarot of Dreams. I do know that many of you, just from what you've told me, haven't had it the easiest in money in 2025, maybe the last 9-year cycle. So, fingers crossed that all that is about to change. I mean, if we just think about the love reading, it's already changed. Okay, well, that didn't take long. All right. Well, they're both reversed. I'm going to turn them around. We have the star, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. We have the tower. We have the two of pentacles. I feel like right now, some of you are thinking whether to give that tower to a place that you work. I don't feel like this tower is coming for you. I feel like it's your power of whether you're giving the tower. I feel like that's what you're thinking about right now. Why? Because I feel that you feel this calling. But maybe there's a little fear around, well, can I do this? Can I quit my job and do my main gig? Not my main gig, my side hustle. The Four of Cups. So because this is your money, it's just telling me you're not, many of you aren't happy where you're at. It's not my wish. Or if it was my wish, maybe it's not looking the way I'd hope it would have looked. Do I give my notice? Do I stay or do I go? I think you go. I think you go. Justice. Let me tell you what I'm feeling. I feel first and foremost, this is speaking about what you're great at, and that is helping others to find balance within themselves. Chances are, very good chance that you yourself had to also find balance. It's like teaching what I know because I've lived it. I feel like this can definitely be cutting ties to an existing job, especially if you're not happy, and that's what it's showing. But I wouldn't say just quit it. I mean, that is up to you. Um, but let's see. I'm hoping, well, that Nine of Pentacles that showed twice, both over the Emperor and the Empress. Some of you may be thinking about like doing your own thing. Let's face it, Scorpio. People come to you left and right for advice anyway. Three of Pentacles, doing your thing, being your authentic self. It's like doing a craft that you get lost in, doing work that you get lost in. And remember, this is about being your authentic self. Coming under the star. It feels like there's no need to change you, maybe just the situation. So let's keep going. But I do feel like some of you have a dream to do something that you're very good at. And some of you don't even know that you're really good at something. But it will reveal itself as you move into it. We have the Nine of Wands. Okay. Under the tower, I feel like you've been reflecting over this tower. The Nine of Wands, it's really looking back, but it's with a sense of understanding how much you have grown, let's say at least over the last 9-year cycle. This is about being proud of oneself. Every wand behind this person is something they've accomplished, something they've overcome. And I feel like I just want to live my authentic life. This may give you the guts and the glory. Under that tower, he's looking right at that Three of Pentacles, and then look at this. The marriage card. But let's call it the commitment. And I feel like what it's saying is making a commitment to whatever your craft is. You know, if you decide to like give your notice at a job because you want to do something on your own, I feel like if you stay dedicated to it, this means to me that that's how you'll finish your life, like your career. Some of you, your dream is also to work from home and maybe with another person, but I have a feeling you don't know that yet. You know what I would say here? You know, first of all, I feel like there's just dissatisfaction with what I'm doing, whether there had been no growth or what have you. I do feel like some of you are thinking about leaving that and potentially doing something on your own. But what I also feel is, you know, don't make a rash decision, you know, because I get the sense of something I do outside of my normal work, but something that brings you satisfaction. Because that's what I feel you're questioning. Do I stay or do I go? You know, I am not saying at all that you don't have what it takes to, well, do whatever you want to do. But let's say it is a business. I know you have what it takes, especially if you're helping others, because people naturally come to you anyway. All right. Well, hello, Empress. Different deck. Here she is. Get the hell out of here. Are you kidding me? Wow. You know, and my guides told me that. I didn't believe it. The Emperor and the Empress together again. Now, next to the marriage card. Oh my God. All right. Ace of Pentacles. And look at this, the world, your next chapter. This is the Fool. So it's taking on the Fool's energy, which means the willingness to take a leap of faith. The past is in the past. This is believing in yourself, even if you don't know how it's going to turn out. How beautiful that the Ace of Pentacles came before that. To me, I have to feel this is the way. This gives me the way. Ace of Pentacles means something that's coming into your physical life, your physical world. It's tangible. And the world means something has come to completion and something new is opening up. I can't believe we got the Emperor and the Empress together twice in love and in money. Unbelievable. Unbelievably beautiful, though. All right, suits on the bottom of the deck. Two of Wands. Seven of Wands underneath that. There is something here about helping others find justice within their life. However it's done. And I cannot help but feel that you are collaborating not only with the person you're falling in love with, but building a business with. If you dedicate yourself to it, it's going to be very lucrative. Each of you have these specialties about yourselves. And it is through these reflections that you're really learning, like, well, Sandy's right. That's what I do. I help people. What if I do it for a living? Would anybody even care? Well, the Ace of Pentacles tells me, yes, those two nines of Pentacles, that, by the way, the Emperor came over one and the Empress. Okay, I'm going right to the Gilded Tarot because I want to go deeper right now. Um, oh, oh, fell to the table. Hello, Empress. Right over the star. Well, well, well. You know, when the Empress is wishing, she knows the perfect energy to put out there. She trusts that whatever I put out there will come back. It may not come back exactly the way that I put it out there, but it'll only come back better. Ten of Cups. Full. Over the one question. Two of Pentacles. Should I or shouldn't I? You know, you really are weighing your options in the Two of Pentacles. As you should. You know, like a pro and con list. But this really represents taking that leap of faith. And look at the Ten of Cups right before it. Some of my empresses are working from home. And that may have been your wish. I know that was my wish. And that wish was granted. And again, I am not telling anyone to go quit a job. You know, the Empress would already have a plan, or at least the Emperor would, right? Have a plan in place, like have a backup. What I would suggest is, you know, if you're really, let's say you can't afford to quit a job, but there is this interest that you have, well, I would do it after work and test it out. You know what I mean? Like, do you feel very comfortable? Well, you don't even have to feel comfortable. Oh my gosh. Why? Because you're going to receive epiphanies. Because you're going to have these ideas. They're just going to come to you naturally. How beautiful that you're not only being inspired in love, but also in your career. Like, wow. Now, the cup in this Four of Cups, because it's money, it's still fulfillment. Ideas, epiphanies off the chart. And who better to receive them than the Empress? Why? Because she trusts her intuition. Doesn't mean, you know, that's the thing with the Empress. Think about the mother figure carrying a child. I want to carry it for the whole 9 months. right? So I know patience, yet the spark is going to be lit. Whatever you're doing, Scorpio, keep doing it. Keep doing it because it is working out. We have the Five of Cups over Justice. Okay, goodbye, past. Goodbye, emotional unfulfillment. Okay, that's half my deck, way too much. Hello, Ace of Cups. So in the Four of Cups, a cup is coming in. It's being inspired, and here it is. Not only are you going to love your love life, I just feel like you're going to love your life. This is coming over the Three of Pentacles, and I really feel like it is a love for what you do. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Probably won't be. But boy, when you're doing something you love, you're willing to put in the work. Can I say, though, the Ace of Cups is mirroring, excuse me, the Emperor? These two are falling in love, period. Queen of Wands, Queen of Action. Oh, no, two cards. Ah, even better. So we have a 9 coming over a 9. This 9 of Wands, reflection. But it's really so you know how much you have grown. Everything that you have learned. Because I have a feeling you're going to be using it. And then the 9 of Pentacles, successful self-employment. Over and over again. Independence. I know I'm putting a lot of emphasis on like a home business, but let's just say, well, it's your dream. And I feel like what this is saying to you is you can manifest it. You can manifest it. And now we have the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Action, the Queen that moves according to her passions. And by the way, when you see the Queen or the Empress, you know that she's gone through all the experiences of the other queens. So now she's pulling out the Queen of Wands. There's that flame from way back in your love reading. It's almost like it's a ceremony. We have the Three of Wands, optimism, present day energy, 33, master number 33. And, I say this often, but when I see like a master number, whether it be 11, 22, 33, I see 33 a lot. And 33 is about pure love. That makes sense. Pure love. Three of Wands, though, I'm giving the worry away. I'm putting my intentions out there. But then I'm just doing my thing. This is living in the present moment, which is really important because this is where your epiphanies are sent. Optimism, gratitude. You're literally saying, I know my blessings will come in their divine timing. And I'm going to keep myself optimistic no matter what's going on around me. Because you have plans. And these plans can manifest. We have the Page of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Queen of Cups, and then the Two of Swords. Okay, bummer that these had to come at the end with you right in between it, but this, I feel like, well, this is untrustworthy energy. This is the thief in the night. This is someone who takes more than their fair share. And it definitely makes me feel like this is what you have dealt with. Because the Two of Swords, it is the need to face the truth. I don't feel like in any way, like I'm really confused why the Seven of Swords even came out at this point. So I want to look at it because, okay, okay. So one of the reasons why it came out is because where you were cutting ties, this Ace of Pentacles that's coming in, it's meant for you, not another. It's meant for you. So I have a feeling that anyone who had previously been in your life that you couldn't trust, they may have had their hands out like, gimme, gimme, gimme. But this isn't for them. This is for you. I mean, come on, they didn't do the work. You did. So that's why it's here. So right when I was about to take cards, my guides answered the question. What a month. Which means what a year. January is the beginning of love, but of the highest. Material harvest everywhere. Some of you working from home and loving it. Let's just put it this way with the star. And now the Empress over the star. And the Ace of Cups below it. Even the Three of Pentacles, they all kind of go together. Because the Three of Pentacles is what you're good at. What makes you happy. Especially with the Ace of Cups. It's like something that you're already good at. But then the ability to, again, potentially create a business for yourself. Listen, if you're not creating a business, then you are getting, like, I want to say raises, but it feels so much bigger than that. Like maybe different titles. But honestly, the majority that I feel right now are not satisfied where they're at. And Spirit is not saying just go quit your job. And I have a feeling the Emperor's energy is important here, right? Patience and planning. The planning part is if I want to quit my job, let's put a plan in place. I feel like these two are going to be loving each other and working together. And I feel like they're going to be unstoppable. You are going to be unstoppable. Even the Page of Pentacles over the Emperor. Page of Pentacles to me is about a path of knowledge. It's everything we're learning along the way. And it doesn't stop. We continue to learn. We continue to evolve. Some of you, I feel like you are becoming awakened in so many ways. I feel like the best advice I could give you for this month is to listen to your intuition because your guides will take over and they will help you. And if you're uncertain, was that a sign? Ask and ask again until you know. But don't second guess that first instinct. This is meant. Well, I feel like this is what you will retire from. And here is your love in your money. But part of it, wow, Scorpio. Wow. All right, I'm going to let that be just so they're not super long. Um, Boy, I hope you can see the blessings in this. You know, your past was definitely recognized, but it was recognized more in the way that you've overcome. And no, not everything is probably overcome yet. Maybe. But if not, just trust me. Your spiritual team is here to help you every step of the way. Every step of the way. Talk to them like they're right beside you, because they are. Talk to them like they're just a friend in the room, because they are. I thank your guides, I thank my guides, and I thank you. Listen, this wouldn't be showing up in such a beautiful way if you yourself was still in a low vibration. And again, it doesn't mean everything in my life is going perfect. It just means that I'm not going to let it bring me down to the point where I do nothing about it. There was definitely action, right? But then it is about letting go then. Because divine is going to guide you. And that's a fact. I love you guys. I thank you. And Happy New Year's, by the way. I keep forgetting to say it at the beginning of the readings. Happy New Year. I could not be happier for you. And you need to find yourself in a reading also because this is really quite beautiful. But it did start with the clearing of what no longer matters. Even people who have a tendency to hurt you. This is you reclaiming your power and the world responding. It is beautiful, as are you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye-bye.